Okay, we're live. Welcome everybody to the Azure AI Show. And with me today is Paul from the UK. Paul is a recent MVP. Congratulations again, Paul.
Thank you
And
very
we
much.
have Joseph from Africa, and he is an MCT. And myself, Frank Falvey from Ireland. Today we have kind of a mixture of stuff for you. So I'm going to start off with the AI 900, the fundamentals course. So I'm going to keep it going over a few weeks. So I'm going to do about 20 minutes every session, and we'll cover all the course over a couple of weeks. Paul is going to do some Copilot stuff with demos. Yay! And Joseph has some stuff for us there. What was that again, Joseph? Some stuff on
Yeah,
forms?
so I'll be speaking on forms, Microsoft Forms.
Or Microsoft Forms. Very good. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here and we'll kick things off. Can you see my screen there, guys?
Yep.
Okay, so it's the Azure AI Fundamentals, AI 900. Just 1 second now. I just want to just bring up this screen first before I go through the slides. So this is on Microsoft Learn. It's the Microsoft Certified Azure AI Fundamentals, or AI 900. So these are the sections here that's going to be covered in the course. So you can get all this stuff on Microsoft Learn, and these are the 5 sections here, kind of broke up into 3 hours, 1 hour 40, 2 hours, 1 hour 30, and 3 hours. So could do a bit every so often. So it's not huge like so. Microsoft also gives you this practice exam. So you can go in and take a practice exam, and you can do it every day up until you're get it, they say over 80% or 82%. If you get 82%, you're good to do the exam. But just back to here anyway, we're going to start off with the course. Second now, slideshow. Okay. So the goal of this topic is we're going to explore all the fundamental stuff of the course anyway, and show you some of the stuff. I know some of it might be fairly technical or whatever like that, but if anybody has any questions about anything or wherever, you can contact me on LinkedIn or YouTube, or we're here every Saturday at the same time every week. Okay, so these are some of the things most humans do on a day-to-day basis, often subconsciously. We make predictions or recognize patterns using information we have available and our past experience to guide us. We can intrusively know when something isn't quite right, or when it doesn't fit, or expect a pattern. We use sight to experience the world visually. We communicate by writing and speaking, and engaging in conversation and responding appropriately. We can extract information from multiple sources to extend our knowledge. So that's some of the kind of stuff that we're kind of going to cover through the course. So the next slide here lists common workloads or areas of AI which correspond with human human traits, like on the previous slide. We'll explore each of these workloads in details, but for now, just to point out the many solutions, the workloads may vary and overlap. For example, image and conversational AI solutions that use a bot to process, we say, an auto assurance and claim. The bot relies on some natural language processing capabilities to make sense of the input, such as I want to submit a claim. It may allow users to send a photograph of the damaged vehicle, use computer vision to assess the damage, and apply machine learning models to predict likely repair costs. The bot might also use anomaly detection to identify potential fraud claims. And finally, the claim data, including forms, photographs, and other artifacts, might be indexed to extract insights and create searchable knowledge stored to help manage future claims. So that's a kind of good example there for an insurance company, because they have documents, pictures, all this kind of stuff. So yeah. So the next one, at Microsoft, AI software development is guided by a set of principles for responsible AI. As you can see, lots of examples on the screen there. Fairness. AI systems should treat all people fairly. For example, suppose you create a machine learning model to support a loan approval application for a bank. The model should make predictions of the loan, and should it be approved without incorporating any bias, biased on gender, ethnicity, or other factors that may result in unfair advantage to groups of applicants. Azure machine learning includes capability and intercept models, and qualified the extent of which each feature of the data influences the model's prediction. This capability helps data scientists to develop and identify and kind of mitigate bias in models. The other one there, reliability and safety. So AI models should perform reliable and safety. For example, consider an AI biased software system for autonomous vehicles, driverless cars, or a machine model that diagnose patients' symptoms and recommends kind of prescriptions for patients. So these kinds of systems can result in risk to human life. So AI based software applications development must be subjected to rigorous testing and deployment management processes to ensure that they work as expected before you release them out into the real world, So the other one then is privacy and security. All systems should be secure and respect the privacy of people. The machine learning model on which AI systems are based rely on large volumes of data, which may contain personal details of people, and they must be kept private, especially kind of stuff like medical records and things like that. They're very sensitive. So even after the model is trained and the system is in production, it uses new data to make predictions all the time, and it takes action that may be subject to kind of privacy or security concerns. The other one there then is inclusiveness. AI models should empower everyone to engage people. AI should bring benefits to all parts of society, regardless of physical ability, gender, sexual orientation, ethnicity, and other factors. And the next one there, transparency. AI systems should be understandable. Users should be able to made fully aware of the purpose of the system, how it works, and what limitations may be expected. So accountability then is very important as well. People should be accountable for AI systems, designers and developers of AI-based solutions should work within a framework of governance and organizational principles that ensures the solution meets ethical and legal standards that are clearly defined. So those are all the principles and responsible AI. So let's move on to the goal of this topic is to introduce some fundamentals, some high-level concepts. So we kind of focus on how machine learning models can support different tasks, different ways, building blocks and things like that. So machine learning is probably the biggest part of it. Like training, like you can see on the screen there now, the first one, right? Training data consists of past observations. In most cases, the observations include observed attributes or features of things being observed, and the known value of the thing you want to train. A model to predict, right? Like they're known as labels in mathematical terms. You often see features referred to using shorthand variables as X. So you can see all the X up in the thing there. So the observation consists of multiple features. So X is exactly a vector, an array of multiple values, like on the screen there, x1, x2, x3. So the other one there, an algorithm is applied to the data to try and determine the relationship between features and labels, and generalize that relationships as a calculation can be performed on X to calculate Y. The specific algorithm used depends on the what kind of predictions you want. Probably you're trying to solve more about this. We'll see more about this later. But the basic principles is to try and fit the data to the function in which the variable and the features can be used to calculate the label. So as you see there, kind of X to calculate and Y. So the result then of the algorithm is a model of encapsulation of calculations derived from algorithms as a function. So let's call the function, F in mathematical notations and Y. So we won't dive too much more into that one. Just moving on to the next one there, types of machine learning, right? You can see there on the screen supervised machine learning and unsupervised. Another way I kind of see these things, like supervised kind of stuff, like could be, we'd say, like an Excel sheet. So you got rows and whatever, everything has to be like C1 or B1 or something like that. So that's supervised machine learning, like it's a general term for learning algorithms, which training the data, both featured values and known labels, like the Excel sheet there. Supervised machine learning is used to train models by determining a relationship between the feature and the label, like the X and the Y, as I was shown in the previous one. So down underneath the supervised machine learning, there is regression, right? Regression is a form of supervised machine learning, which the label predicts by a model of numeric values. For example, we'd say, I'll give a couple here, the number of ice cream sold on a given day based on the temperature, rainfall, and speed. So there's multiple kind of calculations inside there. So the other one there is the selling price of a property based on the size in square feet, the number of bedrooms it contains, and the social economic metrics, like the location. So like if you were in London, I suppose, if you were far out from the centre, probably be cheaper. If you were inside in somewhere like Mayfair or something like that, be very expensive. So the other one then you could use could be fuel efficiency in miles per gallon, right? The size of the car's engine, the height, the width, the length of it. So these are all kind of regression. The next one there is classification, right? Classification is a form of supervised machine learning, in which, you know, the labels represents a kind of categories or a class. There are two common classification scenarios. So you can see them there underneath in the thing, binary and multi-classification. So like the binary classification is a label to determine whether the observed item is or it isn't, like yes or no, is an instance of that class. Or you could put it in another way, binary classification models predict one or two different outcomes, you know. So I could just give you another example of that one, right? Whether a patient is at risk of diabetes based on clinical metrics like their weight, their age, their blood glucose levels, and so on. Another one could be whether a bank customer will default on a loan from their credit history, their age, and other factors. Another example there is whether a mailing list of customers will respond positively to kind of a marketing based on demographic attributes and past purchases. So they're all kind of examples of the models of binary, true or false, positive or negative. So the last one there is the multi-classification one, right? Multi-classification extends binary classification to predict labels that represents one or multiple possible classes, right? I'll give you two examples there. Um, the species of a penguin, um, gento or chin strap, based on their physical measurements. And the other one is generic of we say a movie. Is it a comedy? Is it a horror, romance, adventure, or science fiction? Kind of based on the cast or the director or the budget. So I'm kind of up on my time here now, so that's kind of my 20 minutes covered on that. So maybe next week we're going to carry on the rest of it. So I'm just going to hand it over there now to Paul. And Paul is going to do some nice stuff on Copilot and give us
I think it's going to be Joseph next.
Or is it Joseph? Actually, Joseph, you're going to.
If you don't mind, I don't mind, but I just thought that was.
Yeah, Joseph, are you okay to go next?
Yes, of course. I'm just going to present my screen now.
Sure.
Okay.
Hey, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Hey, y'all. How are you?
Yeah, hi. I'm doing great.
Good.
Got the glasses.
So
I'm driving, so I'll be listening.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, so I'm just bringing up my screen. Share screen. Entire screen. This and share.
Yeah. There we go. We got your screen.
Okay. Thank you everyone for your time today again. I'm just going to be showing you around the Microsoft Forms and how to use it to create a quiz. Recently, I got some few requests, especially on my LinkedIn page and my YouTube, requesting how to schedule computer-based tests for people who want to take exams remotely. So, say for example, HRs who would want to assess candidates before having them on site for one reason or the other, may want to have a proctored exam, and some persons would want to think that it's a very big deal. But with Microsoft free accounts, like the Microsoft account that you use for Microsoft Learn or your Outlook account, you can actually have access to the Microsoft Forms. So I just want to show you that this is my Gmail account that is registered with Microsoft accounts, and I can use that to access forms. Of course, you know that with my M365 account as well, I also have the same features, right? So for this account here, what I wanted to know is that it is a completely free account that is not coming with any subscription, and yet I can create forms for surveys. I can get to create a quiz for candidates whom I want them to take part in maybe exams, CBT, on site, or even if they have to take that remotely. So I will just head on to new quiz. I just want us to look at some features that come with it. In there, you have different types of questions. You you will see the option for multiple choice questions, and you have text-based responses, and then you also have option to rate experience and so on. So let me just wait for this to load up, and we will just try to look at what types of questions are therein. So whatever we can cover today is fine, and then we can continue next time. So I'm just waiting for this to, so create your first question. So what is here is this is, you want to create your first question. You have option for choice. You have option for text kind of question. You have option for rating, and then you have option for date type of question. You have ranking, and then you have link arts. You have net promoter score, and then you have sections. So when we speak about sections, we would also speak about branching, and that's very important when we have option for sections. So I'll just start from the first type of question that you can have set for candidates using free Microsoft Forms. I want to emphasize on the word free because you don't have to pay to have access to this wonderful um, um, service. So this is a question. So I want to say, let me just say question like when, or let me just say what is the founder's name. Founder's name. Let's just say it's an exam, and then we want to come here and say Michael MC, and then maybe the next option is going to be Joseph AJ, and then maybe the third option is just Paul PA. So for this, it's just 3 options question. So if you have these circles here, what it means is that the response that the user can give is only one. But if you want the options to be multiple option, then you can turn on here. And immediately you turn this on, you're going to see this changing to square brackets. I mean, this is square. So what happens is if I do this, maybe I'll have this. So what it means is that you can provide multiple options, just maybe in case I say is or are. And then in that case, it means that I can provide more than one answer to this. So if I want to give 2, I give 2 response. If I want to give 1, I give 1 response. But I have option here to set the limit. So if I want it to be, say, equal to, you can't give more than 2 answers, I will say out of these 3, you cannot give more than 2 answers. I can leave it this way, or I can say there is no limit to this. Otherwise, I can just decide to turn it off, and that is all. Now, very importantly, to state the correct answer so that when Forms is giving credit to this, it can give a certain score to it. You can say, okay, this is the correct answer. So what this is showing me or telling Forms is if this user responds to this question, then and gives the answer as Joseph AJ or Paul PA, then this question is wrong. So, but if he gives this, then you are going to score the guy right. But how many points do you want to give to this question when user, passes it? So you can say, okay, let it just take 2 points. So Forms is going to record 2 points for this question if the user gets it correctly or if the respondent gets it correctly. So again, if I want to make this question compulsory, so this applies to maybe schools that want to say question 1 is compulsory, you can just toggle this on and it is required. So what it means is that if you do not provide an answer to this question, you cannot submit your exam, right? So that is where this is necessary if you want to make question compulsory to be answered. So I'm just going to turn it off. So if I turn it on and I go to preview, you would see that I am having the required sign there, right? Showing that this question you must answer it, and it is 2 points that you would get, right? So if I go back here and I want to say it is not required, if I toggle this off, then if I go back to preview, then I will not, or the respondent will not see that it is required. That means this can be skipped. Okay, so there's need for emphasis on that. So another type of question that we can have, of course, you can just call this Azure AI demo because I'm sure that we're going to continue from here next week. So I need to title the form so that when we come back, we would know what we are working on. So we are giving it 2 points. And then the next question is a text-based question. So for a text-based question, maybe you just want to, maybe you even want to capture the name of the respondent. So you can say, please enter your name. So this was supposed to be the first. So I want to use this opportunity to show you how you can reshuffle questions the way they are. Please enter your name, or what is your name. So I will explain this also. For this is going to be 0 point. Of course, you can't tell me your name and I want to give you score. Okay, so and it's going to be an option to just provide your name. But for long answers, it's where you have response that is open-ended for a user to type as much as possible as response for what the user wants to provide or the respondent wants to get as an answer. Now, I want you to look at.
I think there's an update on that, Joseph, I think.
Say that again.
I did test this out 1 or 2 weeks ago. There's a little bit of an update on this.
Okay, can you share that, please?
So if you go to if you just click on the question and leave it as it is. If you go to preview.
Okay, if I go to preview here.
Yeah, and go to the question number 2, can you see it's just one long line?
Yes.
So if you fill it in, just carry on filling it in until it's full. Just press one letter.
So
just carry on all the way to the end. Carry on all the way.
Okay.
Now try stop. Change it to B. Another letter.
Okay, so I've stopped now.
Use another letter now. Yes.
Okay.
You see, this line doesn't change. Everything stays on one line.
Yeah.
If you go back and change it to
long text, yeah,
then the box will drop down.
Okay. So let's try.
See, the box will drop. So carry on. Press enter. So just press enter, and it will drop down the screen now.
Yeah,
and
sure.
That box will just carry on. So I thought, when I first learned this, I thought it was the amount of characters, but it's not anymore. It seems to be more about the way that it appears on the form.
Want to format? That's brilliant.
Yeah, just thought I didn't want to interrupt you, but that's just I only found this
that makes a lot of sense. That means that if we come here and we turn this off, and then we come back to preview, and then we're here, and then we are doing this and press enter, it's not going to have any effects, right?
No.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much for sharing that. All right, so I just want us to see how we could also reshuffle, because of course this is looking like I had skipped this, because of course the user needed to have entered the name before proceeding to respond. So I will just click on here, and then I will just drag it up. So I can flip. What I'm trying to say is you can flip the question. So this is now becoming question number 1, enter your name. So just to hold on this, and then you can switch them. So you can, just in case you forgot something, you don't need to go delete the first question and then delete the second, do anything. Way from the last question, you can pull it up to become the first. So I just wanted to show you that. So the next one, I must emphasize here that this form it's not paid, it's free, tied to your account just because you have Microsoft account, and I think this is very wonderful. So we've done text, and then the one is reading here. So for this, actually give feedback about your who is this now? Instructor, this way. So for the rating, you have options for using the star symbol. You can use whatever you want to use. You can even decide to say you want to put it at 10 and not at 5. You can just bring this down and put it at 10. That means it's going to be 10 stars. Or you can even decide to say, okay, you want to use numbers. So you just come down to numbers here, and then it's 1 to 10 that you want to rate. But I think most time when we have star rating is 1 to 5, so you just want to put it at 1 to 5, and then number just you can say you want to put it as star. You can also put it at thumbs up here, and then you can put that smiley face as flag, and trophy, check mark, and those. So we just leave it here as star. So just want to rate the instructor, right? So the next kind of question that we want to look at now.
Oh, okay.
So Paul, you wanted to say something?
Just the labels on it sometimes help people to know what you're looking for.
Okay.
So if you click on the star next to where it says required at the bottom, there, yeah. If you click on label,
just to add label, right?
Yeah, and it gives you the chance to let people know what 1 star means and what 5.
So
you could say low or high or poor or excellent, so people know what the numbers mean.
Makes sense. So we can say 1 means like this. We can say 1 means terrible.
You could just write the word poor.
Okay, terrible.
Terrible, yeah. And then number 5, you can say good or excellent, or whatever you want to put in there.
Great here, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense. I think
when you see it, they know what it means.
That makes a lot of sense. I hope we also pick something from here, just down below here. Come down, man. Come here. Why are you doing this? Okay, so here, and then we can say, where's it here? Okay, so because it was already showing up here.
Yes,
that's good.
Yeah.
So just showing terrible here.
Sometimes people get confused.
Yeah, so I worked with a Microsoft partner one time, and I think I may be wrong, or maybe we are right. I don't know, but that time we had this notion that the Americans understand the star rating very well, but the Germans, that 1 star means great in Germany.
That's
I don't
right.
know how true that's it.
Yeah, it's different. Different people will not know. They might look at things on the left or things on the right. So yes, that would really help you to make sure there's no confusion.
So that time we would have to say the higher you rate, the better satisfied you are with your experience. So just so we can, and at the end of the day, a customer could still give a 1 star and say great support.
But then you could put the subtitle onto the question.
Yes, I thought of that as well, right?
That would be a really good idea. So you just go, yeah, sure. You know where it is. Yeah.
Okay, so that's for that option there, and that's great. For this coming up on the star rating is actually a very nice one, Paul. Thank you for that contribution.
My pleasure, Joseph.
So the next one is the date type of question, and for this is maybe when we're asking when was the organization established or so. Let's say when was the organization established. So this is a question, right? So this is a date type of question, and is asking us how many points do we want to give to this. So for someone who knows this, let's give the person 3 points, and then that's how it goes. So I must emphasize on something. For these ones that you've given scores already, it's going to give it going to automatically give a score to it. Then I think for the text kind of question, if you give it like this date kind of question, since there is no option to state the exact date as the correct date is there. Let's see.
That question doesn't give you points normally.
So pending review or something.
You can do it that way, yeah. I mean, it does give points. You click on it again, it can give points. It does give points for it, yeah. You can use that. There's another way of doing it, but yeah, that would work as well.
Yeah, because I see that when I collected the responses from a form that was responded to, so the evaluation from the back end was saying that this is pending review by the instructor or something. So we'd have to look at this. Maybe we'll have to fill this out in subsequent sessions.
I mean, I think
But
it depends on if you're looking. It depends if you're looking for a specific day, month, and the year to be exactly correct.
yeah, so
Which
that's what I'm
might
looking
be,
at. Can we fix a time
no,
and say
this is
this is the
fixed. I
correct
checked
time?
out with this, and what it is normally this would be the reason they have it as a fixed date is so that when you do your analysis later on, everything is locked into the same format. And so with this question, you're not even
Yeah, I
allowed.
got that. But what I'm saying, Paul, is so can you go on, please?
Yeah, you can't change the date format. That's just set as it is.
Yeah, so I was just thinking if it was even possible for us to say, okay, this is the correct, for this one, I think time is already up for me.
Well, that's okay.
So,
It's all good. Carry on.
so for this, I could say that this is the correct answer, right?
Yes.
So I'm just looking at that option that
Yeah.
I feel that
So
the last time.
with this, you're literally giving them a point almost for filling in any answer. So what you would do is you would change it to a text question and not use the date one, because the date one, you don't have the chance to say what the correct answer is. You can't change it.
Yeah, so maybe the examiner may just want to give it a point when it receives the correct answer. That's why the response to this kind of question would say that it is pending review. It does not award score to it directly, I think.
Yeah.
Because I checked this out in one of the responses that I got from a form I created.
Yeah.
So I think I would be handing the mic over to Paul so we can look at the ranking, the link out, as well as the net promoter. We'll look at sessions next time and probably look at branching as well, because that's very important as well. So if you look at the preview, it's just this, and on the mobile phone, it's going to appear this way. So thank you very much for your time today, and I hope that would continue again next time. So I'll be handing the mic over to Paul.
Fantastic. So the current big thing in technology in the world of Microsoft is naturally going to be Copilot. And normally, I wouldn't use PowerPoint, so I'm going to just share my screen. And I think I'll share my entire screen. That would look like it would work. Hide that.
Yeah, I got you there.
I'm assuming you can all see the screen there. So at the most simple level, Copilot is a little bit like ChatGPT built into your Microsoft ecosystem. And when I was doing the research on this, I found out there were 5 things that you're going to be able to do with your information in your Microsoft. So it might be in Word, PowerPoint, Excel, etc. So the 5 things we're going to look at is when you have your, let's say, Microsoft Word open, you'll be able to create a Word document, or if it's PowerPoint, you'll be able to create a show for yourself. Once you have your data, again, it could be Word or PowerPoint or wherever it is, Copilot will give you the chance to edit the response that you've received, and you can amend it as well. The part that gets really interesting is, let's say I produced a PowerPoint show. It doesn't have to be produced in Copilot, but if I clicked on the Copilot button, I could take any document in Word or PowerPoint as an example and ask Copilot to ask questions about the data. So I could say, how many spices does this report mention? Or what conclusion does this report come to? Etc. And that's just really powerful when you see it in action. Catch up took me a little while to understand, but this is really quite sophisticated. So let's say we have a weekly meeting and I attend every week, and then I go away for 3 weeks, I could click inside the meeting from Microsoft Teams and say to Microsoft Teams, can you give me an update of what happened whilst I was away? It will look through the last 3 weeks that you didn't attend and just give you a catch up on what happened for the 3 meetings that you were not in attendance. That is incredibly powerful. The last part is it can start to understand either the new prompts and the content that is created, or you can give it any pre-existing content and you can start to ask questions, what's going on in this particular document? So it's incredibly powerful. Did anyone have any questions, or would you like me to carry on?
No, carry on.
Okay. When I speak to organizations about Copilot, there's a lot of apprehension. And people think that when you use Copilot, they're worried that your confidential data is going to be shared around Microsoft, etc. It's not. When Microsoft build a product, the first thing they do is they make sure that the security is built first. And you don't often hear any news stories about Microsoft losing data because it's just not built that way. All the security is built in first. Then afterwards, Microsoft then put the software together, and then they might add all the nice shiny buttons. And I remember this during COVID, that, I was sitting there thinking, oh, Zoom have given me breakout rooms, but Microsoft Teams hasn't. And it took like 2 or 3 months before Microsoft brought into the breakout rooms into Teams. But when they did bring the breakout rooms in, it worked and it was very, very secure. Now, one thing I'd like to show you very quickly is people might be struggling with how can I find what prompts to use for my software? So what I'd strongly encourage you to do is go into your browser and type in Copilot Lab. And the first reference here is your Copilot Lab. Now, there is a lot going on here. There are little short videos telling you what Copilot is, how to use it, what's a prompt. This is showing you the applications that Copilot's in. In short, Copilot is embedded into everything. But the bit I liked the most was the heading where it said, powerful prompts, a click away. So if I click at the bottom here, it says view all prompts. And the first time I went here, I clicked on the button that said app, and it only listed OneNote, Outlook, PowerPoint, and Word. And I'm like, how am I meant to get my work done if these are the only apps I can use with Copilot? The thing you'll need to do is sign in with your Microsoft account. So I'm now going to sign in with my Microsoft account. Now I've signed in with my account and I click on the app. Can you see it's now showing you within 365 all of the apps? And what this is a filter for you. So I could click and say, I would like you to give some ideas for prompts to use in Microsoft Outlook. It's now whittled it down to prompts I could use in Microsoft Outlook. Then I could say, draft me an email. And when I click on it, it gives me the example here at the top. And it also gives me examples of how I can customize it to make it more useful for myself. So if I go into PowerPoint, which would probably be a better place to go, if I go to PowerPoint, here we are. Look at this one here. This one says, generate ideas. Click on it, There it is there. And it gives you other prompts that are going to be quite similar as well. Now, I'm going to very quickly go to Microsoft Word to show you how Copilot can help you. And this is a really, really important principle to learn about Copilot, because it could change the way you work quite quickly. So I'm going to click on my Copilot button here. And I'm going to say, write a detailed report. Now I can type in any word in here, but what Copilot allows you to do is to cross-reference your files. So I've got a button here that says reference a file. However, because it's such an important command, Microsoft have given you its own shortcut. So if you click /, I could now start typing in the name of the file. So I'm going to type in, I've got a presentation on the alphabet, and I'm asking it to produce a report on a PowerPoint presentation that I've already had. Let's go to my presentation. So I should have one in here called Alphabet. So this was produced using Copilot as well, but that's a separate one. So this presentation doesn't have a lot of content, but this is what the Microsoft Word document was using. And when we go to Microsoft Word, can you see it's produced a report based on PowerPoint, and it's still working on it. So I think we could imagine that you choose to write some papers for your board members. So you could say to PowerPoint, go into Microsoft Word, take my board report, and now make a presentation. Or the other way would be, you've done a presentation for your board, now write me a report based on my presentation. And I just really like the way that Microsoft deals with this. We'll come into how it works later on. But one thing I realized was, even though it's done this report, it's even incorporated headings into the documents. And one thing I've been strongly encouraging organizations to do, especially because prompting is something that's for most people, it's a relatively new concept. I've been encouraging organizations to set up a channel in Microsoft Teams and call it best prompts. And then what we can do is, anytime you have a prompt that's been really useful, we can place it there, and other colleagues in our organization can benefit from seeing the accumulated knowledge we could get from sharing all of the best prompts that we have. Now, where is Copilot located? Well, there's a few places where you're going to find Copilot. I've got Windows 11 here. So Copilot can exist as a separate app as well as being inside your software. It can be a separate app. So one place for me is in the taskbar at the bottom, and you can see Copilot here. And it's brought Copilot, not connected to any particular app. And for all purposes, this would be very similar to ChatGPT. Another place where you can find Copilot would be to go into your Office account. So I'm going to go into office.com. I'm going to sign back in. Brilliant. And what you're going to find is, if you go online on the left-hand side, this is the online version of Copilot. The third place that you may want to access Copilot from would also be your mobile phone. And I have started to use Copilot on my phone. And when you realize how powerful it is, because it's not connected to any particular app, it's across the whole of your ecosystem. I had an email and somebody suggested 3 dates for a meeting. I just went to Copilot and said, which days am I free to attend this meeting? And it just listed my calendar in response to my Outlook. I hadn't even opened Outlook at that point on my phone. I just mentioned who the email was from. Copilot read the email, then it went to my calendar, then it gave me suggestions as to when it would be a good time to have the meeting. And it also gave me the reasoning why. Now, I do love ChatGPT. It's just something that's revolutionized my work. ChatGPT in general is going to be faster than using Copilot. But even in the last couple of months of using Copilot, I have noticed that Copilot is speeding up incredibly. I was thinking, Frank, just in terms of this, we've got 4 minutes left. I think it might be best that maybe next week I'll actually go into some of the apps where we can use Copilot, because I'm just a bit worried I'll just carry on forever. So maybe we could finish the session here. What do you think, Frank?
Sure, that's great, Paul. Some nice stuff there on the Copilot, especially the start of the presentation there with your, you know, the way you covered create and ask and understand. They were very, very insightful, very good. So,
fantastic. It's really exciting.
The AI world is really kind of ramping up now. So we'll see in another 6 months what's going to be there.
It might be faster than ChatGPT at that point. Who knows?
Yeah,
nothing surprises me with Microsoft these days.
Yeah, definitely.
I think because
I'll send you some information on Prompt Buddy. Somebody at Microsoft created a tenant add-in that lets you save your prompts and get better at prompts. So I'll send you some information about it. That might be another thing to maybe queue up for some week.
I'll definitely introduce that into one of these sessions. Is it a website or an app?
It's an app that you add in, I think, on the back end of Teams. It's on GitHub. I'll send you a link. I think I sent it to Frank, but I don't think I sent it to the whole group. So I'll send it to you next. And then I'm planning to set it up sometime this week and take a look at it. So,
well, maybe we can, maybe when you do set it up, maybe we could do a joint session together and just play around with it together. That might be really useful.
Yeah, that'd be super cool.
Yeah, I'd like that. Yeah, that'd be really great.
Awesome.
Thanks for inviting me, Frank. It's been really, really enjoyable again.
Yeah. Okay. Joseph, great demo. Paul, great to see you. Frank, as always.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan.
So, Paul, you might send me on your email and I'll make you an administrator for the StreamYard.
Yeah, I will send you. I'll send you the email on LinkedIn in a few moments.
Yeah. So,
do I have to change my name to? Do I have to change my middle name to Frank or anything? Or
no.
Okay. Do I have to join your fan club, Frank, to become an administrator?
No.
Okay.
So we kind of share it around all the time, Paul. Like, so whoever's on StreamYard with us or whatever, I think Teresa is not using it at the moment, so I'll just slot you in there. And if she needs it going forward, we just juggle it around, you know. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Frank, I'll be gone for a couple weeks too. So if you want to use my account, you can use mine.
Okay.
Just remove me.
Okay. No worries. You going on holidays?
We're going on holidays. We're going to be in Italy, Turkey, Malta, and Greece, and then we end in Spain. So I'll be close, but only for a day.
You managed to miss London out of all of that.
I know. I'm so bummed, but we're definitely going to be in London, we're going to be in the UK. I should say we're going to be in Manchester in January.
Oh, for the MCT.
Yeah. So I'm either going to come early for that and spend some time visiting elsewhere, like London, or I'm going to stay after, or I might do both. I'll figure it out. But I plan to either be there before or after the MCT event.
Is there still a call for speakers on that? Is there?
I don't know. I didn't even pay attention to whether they've done a call for speakers.
Okay, I'll have a look and I'll try and find it online.
Yeah. I think I found it on LinkedIn.
So we're just up on the hour. I'll just end the live show. You can stay there, Paul.
Okay, fantastic.
I just the ending.
Sure.
So thanks everybody for joining us for this week's Azure AI Show. We'll all be back here again next week. So tune in. Thank you.
Thanks, Frank. Thanks for organizing it.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.